before radio, before television, before computers. What was it that so fascinated the 18th century Victorian mind? A life in a box.
Well, hello. Come right on in. You're at Father Fish.
The very first thing that happened when flat glass was invented in 1859 was windows in houses became glass. The very second thing that happened was aquariums began to be built in 1859, and for the next nearly 100 years, the aquarium hobby exploded, most especially in the 1800s. By 1870, every city in the country had a flourishing, active, and dynamic aquarium club, as well as local industries based on building aquariums out of glass and whatever kind of framing seemed to work best. It was an explosive period in aquarium keeping, and many, many, many homes had aquariums in their parlors, their living rooms. The clubs were incredibly active, dynamic organizations. They began networking and became, by the 1900s, very large and substantial organizations, some of which survive to this day. What was it about aquarium that so fascinated the 18th century Victorian mind and Victorian life and Victorian culture? Oh, it was the discovery of nature, up close and personal, the ability to bring an environment utterly unknown into one's home and to be able to observe it. That was a thrilling, delightful, exciting experience before radio, before television, before computers, before any of the things that have taken the place of sharing wonder, of experiencing the joy of something extraordinary in one's home. A life in a box. So, how did they achieve this? Well, this was, of course, also before electricity. So the tanks were lit with sunlight. They were placed in front of windows in brightly lit parlors, in areas where sunlight could reach them. Now, there were, to be sure, some who swirled the water continuously in order to be able to do CO2 O2 exchange. Well, they knew about that. They knew about a great deal. What they did not know about was how these little animals live. And so they were all about creating the most natural environment possible. They would go out to a stream, collect sand, water, plants, fish, crayfish, even the soil, and bring it in and put it all together in their new glass box. And with enough sunlight and very, very careful feeding so as not to foul the water, they would begin to see life emerge in their aquarium. We've been teaching people to experiment with what we have referred to as a resurrection jar. It could as easily be a box, a tank, a tray, anything, but it's based on collecting wild material from an existing body of water, bringing it in, putting it into a container, setting it where it'll get a little bit of sunlight, and watching what happens. This was precisely the experience of the Victorians in the 1800s. That fascination with living organisms, indeed a living environment in an aquarium, persisted well into the 1950s, until such time as television became popular.
Yes, sir. If you want real entertainment, the best place to find it is in front of a General Electric black daylight big as life television set.
And suddenly there was something else to look at in the parlor. It reduced but did not do away with the aquarium. But then something else began to happen. Culture began to lose its sense of the mystery and fascination of nature and replaced it instead with a fascination with science, with human contrivance, with the ability of human ingenuity to create all manner of devices, of systems, of chemicals, of learning tools, of everything to change the way we live, to separate us substantially from nature. And so we have lost our fascination with the created world, with the world of trees and rivers and mountains, the world of birds and fish, the worlds of ponds and lakes. Oh, to be sure, there is still interest among us, but we are so caught up with our own contrivances. We can live, we can survive endlessly in our own little boxes, tucked away in little corners, as though what we can manufacture is sufficient for our entertainment, our edification, indeed, for nurturing our very existence. So, what are we about here on this Father Fish channel? It is to bring us back to nature, to the joy, the inspiration, the fascination of the created world that is outside our little box, outside our door, down the path, around the bend, and into the woods, into nature, and to bring back a piece of that and set it up in a little glass box. Oh, we can use some of the contrivances of our science and industry. Air pumps are wonderful, as are lighting, filtration. Oh, there is so much we can use to edify, to make simpler, to make better our slice of nature. But let us never lose sight of what we have to learn as we share in the magnificence of these fascinating animals that we can have living in our little glass boxes. Join us on this journey into nature. Join us in the Father Fish Shoal, a place where so many are gathering, chatting, learning and growing, doing very sophisticated research and getting their basic questions answered about how to keep the fish alive. We have for sale at our store in Shopify lots of plants, as well as the magic soil supplement we have developed to make that substrate just come alive and be there always. So come, be part of the Father Fish Show. Join us as we discover nature in our